Hey guys, Bruce from Jennercustom Toys coming at you again. Had a lot of requests to do this video. People want to learn about how to vent, and I don't mean by flipping out on somebody and trying to get rid of stress. I'm talking about your molds and how to get the air bubbles out of it, more complicated pieces, and that's what I'm going to try to show you today. I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. I know the resin pot video is up to like 3,000 something, and I really appreciate that. I haven't been around lately because, well, we had a death in the family, unfortunately, so now I'm playing catch up in the shop. So I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. I'm trying to work it in with what I'm working on here. But since I had to make a mold, this is a perfect time for me to do a quick video. There's a lot of videos on YouTube showing you how to do this. I'm not the best. I'm not a genius. I'm just trying to share with you guys what I've learned over the past 5 years in doing this. It's a lot of fun for me. It's relaxing. And, you know, about my eBay store, I sell some of this stuff online if you want to check it out. I don't do the Patreon thing. I don't do super chats. I don't ask for donations. You know, my channel isn't even monetized because I swear too much. But anyway, getting to business. This is, okay, let me shrink myself down here. And there. And there. I'm little again. Last time I showed you guys how to use the reusable molding compound that I have the recipe for. And we made this guy. Yep, this fell over. This is how this guy came out. I finally finished it. I trimmed it and cleaned it up a little bit. And he's done. He came out really nice. Now this guy is a very simple mold. He didn't need any vents. As you can see, the hands came out nice. If you remember correctly, we glued his head to the bottom of the cup like this. And that's how we did the mold. And filled it up and then, you know, continued from there. Just if you haven't watched the video, go ahead and check it. I don't want to be redundant. So anyway, he didn't need vented because he didn't have any real weird angles or anything that would get stuck. Now, gluing the head to the bottom of the cup is what I do for the simpler ones. It's quicker, but the downfall of doing that is if you glue the figure to the bottom of the cup by the head, it doesn't have a lot of surface area, and the hot glue sometimes with the reusable molding compound will melt, and next thing you know, you look down, your figure's floating to the top and your mold's useless. The good part about it is you can always just start over, but sometimes, you know, it's frustrating. So that's why I'm going to show you how to vent today. And like I said, venting is when you have a lot of complicated things on your figure that might have air stuck in them when you make that mold. Now, these are a couple ones that have failed for me to show you what the venting actually would have done if I'd have done it right. As you can see in this figure here, this hand came out okay. That's one type of vent. I'm going to explain that later. This hand didn't come out at all because air got stuck in here. I did not vent it properly. So air got stuck. Resin couldn't get in there. Never made it. Same with this one here. Both these hands didn't come out correctly because I vented it improperly. So these are some of the mistakes you might make. Trying to help you guys avoid that. But let's face it, we're all going to make mistakes no matter what. So, moving on. This is how you're going to make your mold if you're going to vent. Now, the other way, this is the bottom of the cup, this is the top of the cup. Now, just to explain it better, let's flip this around and pretend this is the bottom of the cup. Let's pretend that we glued his head to the bottom of the cup like we did for the last oh wait, no, just ignore that. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to glue the feet down to the bottom of the cup on this one. Now, the reason we do that is there's more surface area, and it'll actually hold better on the bottom of the cup with more surface area on the bottom of the feet. So your glue won't melt and your figure won't float to the top, which does happen. It also ensures that if you have a complicated head pattern, that it will come out near perfect and you won't have to grind it down or polish it or you know, grind the I call it a hat, because if you glue the head down when you come off, you got that excess glue on there which fills up with resin, and you end up having, I call it a hat. It looks like it has a hat. Sometimes you can grind it down with a Dremel tool depending on the shape of the head. But if you got a weird shaped head like this guy's got a strange shaped head, and if I would have put him in there, the hat part up here, it would just, you know, you can't really trim that effectively. Now, it was easy on this guy. It was easy because you can see his head just has that straight across the angle. In fact, you can actually still see the hat there. I might have a little more work to do on there. But so we're gonna flip the figure around, and we're gonna glue them to the bottom of the cup, which is fine, and you could do that the same exact way. But when you pour it, as you can see I have here, you pour. You're going to take the mold out, so the mold will look like this sitting on your table. It'll be upside down. You're going to pour into the feet. So yeah, that's correct. I have spatial differences here with the two cameras. So okay, let's say you pour your resin in here, and it's going to go down there. It's going to fill up your head first. Watch this stick. That's our resin line. We're filling it. We're filling it. We're filling it. Everything's good. Everything's good. Everything's good. We hit the armpits, and it's good all the way up to here. Fill it some more. Air gets stuck here. So you're going to have air stuck all in this, all in that. That's all air right there. It's still going to fill up. It's filling up the waist. It's going to fill up. It's even going to fill up this leg because it'll go up and around. And then boom. You think you have the whole thing filled and you're good to go. All right, leave it sit overnight. Next morning you open it up. You're going to be disappointed because it won't have no arms. So I'm going to show you how and why we vent them. There's two ways to vent this one. This is the most simplest way that I figured out to vent them. There's other ways to do it. You can make a two-part mold. That's way far advanced. I do it occasionally. Like I said, I'm just trying to give you the basics and help you so you don't make the same mistakes I made. One way to vent it is, like here's a hand, put a little drop of the low temperature hot glue right there and run. I use these sticks. This is just a simple skewer. Glue your skewer there and go the whole way down to the top. Glue that to the bottom too, like so. And you glue that there too. You have a space in here for the resin to get in, or for the resin to get in, and the air is going to come out through here and poop. When it fills up, you know you don't have no air in that hand. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it, let's use the other side. We're going to do both ways on this one we're going to mold. The other one, you put a little drop of glue on the finger and a little drop of glue on the leg, and you run your vent that way, just like that, which still gives room for the air to escape. It's going to go in the leg. It's going to pop out the top. So that's what we're going to do today. And let's just get started right with that. This might be a lengthy video because I'm just going to video it straight through, and then edit it later. But who knows? So here's what I decided to work on today. This guy, still a simple figure, and if I could glue his head to the bottom of the cup, but like I said, he's going to end up having a hat. This particular figure, if you don't recognize it, is Chewbacca from Star Wars. Let's see if I can get this in there close enough. This particular figure has grains and like a hair pattern here. So if I would glue this to the bottom of the where am I at? There. If I would glue this to the bottom of the cup, he's going to come out with like I call it a graduation cap for this guy. And it works, but then when you go to grind it down, you can't match that pattern, which is why I want to try it this way, which is what we're going to do today. Okay. Like I said, I'm trying to save time. My videos always end up long-winded anyway, so you feel free to skip ahead. So like I said, the first thing we're going to do is, oh, there it is. The first thing we're going to do is vent his hand like that. So you want to get a piece of your thing. Actually, let's go a little bit longer. Just make sure we get it. A little bit longer. We want to go from the hand to the toe. Right to the foot. And you don't really want it to touch the foot. I mean, you can if you want to. It just makes it harder to carve it out. I try to keep it separate. So then we have this big thing where the molding compound can get better definition. And sometimes it'll bleed in, I just try to keep it separate. So we're going to cut a piece of this off. And I'm going to put some hot glue on it. And it's hard to work with a camera in this stuff. Now, like I said, always use a low temperature hot glue on your plastic figures. Now, you can just stick this right in his hand, which is what I'm going to do. Now, this will come out with the resin. Oops. It's hard to do this and mess with the camera at the same time. I'm just going to let that dry there. This one's kind of sloppy. We're still going to use it, though. I'm going to let that dry for a second. Let that dry for a second. Now this side, now you see how close his hand is on there? Let me point to it. See how close his hand is there? Now I don't really have to vent that now that I see it. But so what I'm going to do is I'm actually not going to use my wooden stick, but normally if the hand was out here, I would cut a small piece and I would vent it like so. This particular one, I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue between his hand and his little saddlebag there at the lowest point. And that is actually enough, just like that. That is actually enough to let the air out whenever I go to pour it. If it was sticking out further, I was going to do the stick in the side like I was explaining earlier. But this is the same principle. It's touching. It's got the glue on there. We're going to let this dry for a second, and then we're going to be ready to pour it. I'm going to pause it right here, and I'll be right back. And we're back. I just needed a few minutes to get I had to heat up my molding compound, which I completely forgot about. This has been sitting for about 5 minutes. We're going to take it, like I said, this is all getting glued to the bottom of the cup. So you want to cut this at the same length of the foot like I'm doing now. See how I have that just straight across? Cut that. Of course, that piece shoots across the place. Now we're going to glue it in our cup. And like I said, we don't have to do anything on this side. That hand's fastened. This one's got the venting thing. Now, as you can see, it went a little past the hand. We are going to cut that out with a Dremel tool. That's about the only thing I can think of to do it. Probably could have put that on better, but since I'm trying to get this done, we're going to put a little hot glue on this Tootsie, other Tootsie, and on the vent. And you can see this vent is kind of actually is touching the foot, which that won't hurt. It just takes it's a little harder to cut apart. So we're just going to leave it like that. Put them in the bottom of the cup. And he's just going to hang out there for a bit till the glue dries. Let's pause that again because I'm sure you don't want to sit here for 2 minutes. I wait 2 minutes for the hot glue to dry. Doesn't really take that long, but as long as it's completely dry, there's a better chance that the resin or the molding compound won't melt the glue. So let's pause now and I'll be back in 2 minutes. And it seems to be ready. So what we're going to do is I got my molding compound all nice and warmed up. It's not too hot. I wish I could explain the temperature of this. You know what I should do is I should get a thermometer and tell you what it is. But what I do is I microwave this for about 2 minutes. Then I let it sit because I thought it was a little too hot. And like I said, it could melt that hot glue and then your mold's toast. I let it sit until it just barely starts thickening up. And then I've had good luck with that. It's not burning my hands holding it. You don't want to boil this stuff in the microwave. That's way too hot and it's going to break down your molding compound. So with that said, we're going to fill this mold like I showed you before, all around his butt. And I don't know if I'm going to have enough in here. Might have to heat up some more. I don't have enough. This is where on TV they tell you to cut the commercial. So I got to heat up some more. Be right back. Don't worry, it ain't going to take long. Yeah, for some reason I didn't have enough resin melted, or molding compound. I didn't have enough molding compound melted, so I melted a little bit more. We're going to finish this off. Ooh, I hate using this pan. I like using that Pyrex pitcher that I have. There we go. Top that off. Spilled all over the place. Great. Don't worry about the cleanup though. Like I told you in the last one, you spill a little bit of this on your mat, just let it get solid and it peels right off. So that's that. We're going to put it in the refrigerator now. And I'll get back to it later today and work some more on this video. I did want to do real quickly and just tell you about the difference. Like I'm using clear resin on these. This is my reusable molding compound that we use. And you can do, it's the same principle if you're using one of these. Now this is Umu 20. I use Umu 20 and Umu 30. If you don't know what that is a molding compound that you make your molds and they're pretty much permanent. They can't reuse these. But they're a lot stronger and they last a lot longer. I can get, on a simple figure, I can get about 50 figures out of one mold. So it makes it easier. But if it's something I'm just making one time like this guy, a reusable mold's the way to go, whether you're going to paint it or not. But you can do the same venting techniques on these molds as you do on this one. And there's plenty of other types of ways you can do the molds. There's what they call a two-part mold, which is it's basically flat, and you pour your resin, have your figure in the middle, let that dry, and then you pour resin, you put some release agent in it, pour some more resin on top. It makes like a book, and it comes right apart. They're good to use. I use that. Can't use it with the reusable mold, though. Like I said, most of these, all these ones I've been doing so far are just for clear resin and a reusable mold. This one's kind of a crossover. You can use these venting techniques for both. And So, all right, like I said, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator, and I'll get back to it later today, and we'll pour it hopefully tonight before I go to bed, and then it's all going to be in this video, so if you want to skip ahead, that's fine. And all right, see you in a bit. Addition to this video, I've been molding. I cast a few things last night, and the one thing, this figure here, I didn't vent it, I just made it straight up. But if you can see right here, the head didn't fill up completely, and it doesn't look so good. And so maybe I can point better. It's hard to see this with the camera, but if you see right there, there's a big hollow spot in the head, so it kind of makes it look. Where can we go? There we are. Geez, where's it going? There it is. You can see that the head has a big gaping hole in it, and this is one that I put in upside down in the cup, and poured it in through the head. And what had happened was the pressure pot got all the air bubbles out of these little teeny tiny arms and legs and feet and stuff. But because I didn't put enough on the top, the head went hollow. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to take some hot glue, and I'm going to see if I can fill that in. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So we're just going to carefully put our hot glue in that hole. And like I said, it's either going to, I have a saying, it's either going to work or it's not going to work. So I'll put that hot glue in there. And now you can see the shape of the head is much better. If you can see that, the shape of the head is much better. To wait for that to dry. And when it dries, I'll nick it up a little bit, see if I can carve the hairlines in there. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I figure it's worth a try. So I just thought I'd add that in there real quick if you ever have a problem with a bubble in one of your figures. Sometimes you can use the low temperature hot glue to fill it, and you don't waste you won't waste your figure. So that's that. All right, back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, it's been overnight, and I got my pressure pot here that I made that I put the molds in. You can see I already let the air out. I did want to make a note about the pressure pot again. If you saw my last video, which a lot of people did, I had told people to go up to about 20 psi using the correct lid. A lot of people had asked me, well, you know, what about a gamma lid? I've never tried the gamma lid, but from what I understand, it doesn't work. A couple people have done it. They said they got a little bit of pressure and it all leaked out. I don't understand the concept of a gamma lid, and I'm not claiming that I do. Once again, this is the lid I'm using. Oh, I got this thing here. This is the lid I'm using. It's got this, needs to be there. This is the same lid as in the video I made, and I've used this. I lost track how many times I've used this. And then, of course, the regular tire gauge that I put in there with some sealant glue around it. That's what it looks like. You want to make sure this isn't gone. I did find out I got this from a painter friend of mine who works for a company called PPG, and that's PPG Paint. It's in Pittsburgh. From what I understand, Sherwin-Williams has these too. If you have that in your area of the country, I don't know. I just know it works. One other thing I also did with this pressure pot, I wanted to see how high I could get it up before it would pop open. And that was actually about 29 psi. That's whenever the lid popped up, and it didn't explode or anything like that. But 29 psi was the limit on this one. So then I got to thinking, well, if I can do this at 20 psi and get good results on my figures, what's the lowest I could go? So I dropped it down to 15. I did a batch of clear resin figures. They came out nice. I'm like, okay, I dropped it down to 10. And at 10 psi, leaving just the clear resin, I left it overnight, pulled it out, same thing. They came out beautiful. So I cut down my pressure so I could get more use out of this to about 10 psi. So it's something to think about. If you saw the other videos, if you're having problems with your pressure pot, you don't have to have it up to 80 psi. 80 psi works great, and if you have the equipment to do so, then yeah, go for it. But you figure the clear resin takes about 6 hours to harden. It takes about 2 hours before the air bubbles won't move anymore. So as long as you have some pressure on that for at least 2-3 hours, it'll work those bubbles out before it solidifies. And if you can do it at 10 psi, you know, of course 80 is better, but these won't go up to 80 psi. And I was using it 20 for a while. I'm sticking with like 10-15 psi now just so I get more use out of this, because I'm sure it's going to wear out. But I just want to put that in there and let you all know in case you saw the first video, because most people that requested this video here that we're in had a lot of questions about the lids. And that's the best I can do. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I just know it works for me. I'm trying to help some people out that are learning this craft. You know, that's what you got to do. You got to help people out. I know a lot. I don't know everything. I'm learning stuff every day. Anyway, back to the thing at hand. There's my mold that we're working on. And I also, this might be interesting to you. I'm making, I haven't looked at these yet. I'm trying to make figure stands. So this just came out of the mold. There's a old-fashioned silicone mold here. So this one just came out of the mold. There, you can see it over here better. Oop. That's right out of the mold. It's not too bad. It's got the little foot peg there. I might be able to use that. And then this is another one I was fooling around with. Definitely needs trimmed. It come out pretty good. That's going to be usable. It's still a little soft though. I don't think it hardened completely. I might be rushing this project. But that's okay. It was a cool night last night, and I had it down in the fruit cellar where I keep it. Now it's usually warmer in there. Anyway, that's not why we're here. Silicone mold that I poured and I made. Took two other stands, made the mold there. That's another stand. You know, that's just what I do. All right, now for the moment of truth. We're going to open this on camera and see what we got. This is the one that we vented. And I'm anxious to see. I know it probably worked, but you know, sometimes I'll make figures and they don't always work. And then you either got to patch them or redo them. So I feel like we should have like a drum roll for this one. And of course the tape's all messing up. Alright, this can go in the garbage. I can be kind of a neat freak in my work area. I don't like stray stuff hanging around. Now see, this one I poured extra resin in it just in case there was air bubbles to get out. So we got this little... okay, where is he at? There he is. I can see right now the vent actually did work. And there we are. Look at that. Look at it. Looks like he's holding a cane, doesn't it? But, yeah, as you can see now, the hands, I always have a problem with them coming out. You can see right there, this hand came out great. That's that side vent that we used. And here's the one I used with the dowel rod going down to the feet, and that worked perfect. In fact, I think the one going down to the feet worked better than the side one. There'll be a lot less trimming on this side. Right now it looks like he's carrying a cane. This could actually be Mr. Peanut if you get the shape of him. Now, of course, I'll trim all this off with a Dremel tool later. But I always wondered if I could just use this excess as an actual stand. This is crooked. But anyway, there it is. And you can see how the vent works. All this extra came up here, pushed your air out, so everything before got completely full. I'm very happy with this figure. There's no air bubbles anywhere. There's a little bit of molding compound stuck to them, but that's okay. Can't save that for later. It's like a booger. Anybody ever see WKRP in Cincinnati? Remember when he said booger? I think of weird stuff. But yeah, I'm very happy with this. I mean, you can see the hand outline is perfect. You flip it over. Here's the vent port that I made. It goes up into his palm. I will carve that out with a Dremel tool. It'll only take me a minute or so. And this one came out good too. I'm happy with both of them. You can see the definition on the hands. And thumbs are always a problem for me. This one, see, this thumb here is not perfect, but it'll still work. This thumb come out good. So overall, I'm very happy with this figure. And that's how you vent. I don't know what else to tell you. Like I said, I've worked on this video for 2 days. I've been really busy, so I haven't had time to do any videos. So I'm trying to get caught up. So anyway, get this back up here. Where are we at? To make myself big again. Yeah, so there he is. I got a better look at it. Looks like I said, I'll trim that all down. It'll be nice. But that's basic venting. Anything you could fit in a cup, you could probably mold. You just have to think, like I showed you on the diagram, how is that air going to go up when you pour it? In any high spot, you want to try to vent that somehow. I showed you 2 ways to do it. There's other ways to do it. There's other kind of molds you can make too. For what I'm doing, I usually stick to these type of molds. You could learn how to make a 2-part mold, which it's basically a 2-part mold would be shaped like this for one half. And you'd have your figure in there that you're molding. You'd mold that and he'd be sticking up. And then you put some kind of release on it, vent it up this way, and then you have to have a fill hole too. Next time I do a 2-part mold, which I don't do it very often, but if I do have to do a 2-part mold in the near future, I'll make sure I do a video. And then you pour the second roll of resin on there, let it dry, and then it should come apart literally 2 pieces like a book. You can even leave them attached if you want. Sometimes I leave them attached. Sometimes I just make it 2 complete pieces. And then they fit together. That's Cliff's Notes version. There's other things you have to do on it. So, like I said, that's a whole other video. So anyway, I hope this helped you today. I appreciate the requests for it. I have some questions. If I can answer them, put them in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe, all that stuff. I really appreciate the support I've been getting lately from you guys. My subscriptions are up. Like I said, I don't do this for money. If you want to check something out, go to Jenner Custom Toys on eBay. See the stuff that I make. If you're interested in Star Wars things, that's mostly what I do. Other than that, I don't use Patreon or anything like that. I'm just here to try and help some people out. This whole COVID thing has a lot of people trying new things. I've been doing this for about 5 years. And I'm definitely not the best, and you can see I'm not the best videographer either. So I do it to help you guys out. It's just a lot of fun for me, and I hope you guys have fun too. So that's about it. That ends the video. Questions below in the comments. Like, subscribe, share. Another request for a different video. If it's something I could do and I have some time, I'd gladly do it. Other than that, hey, thanks for watching, and I will catch you later.